You're the next contestant. So we have two proposals for investment, both brought to us by the Weston Center.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mike Carroll with the Western Center on Law and Poverty. Appreciate the opportunity to testify today. If it's okay with the chair and the committee, I'd actually like to just start off with a few comments and start with the SSI advocacy proposal. And then we'll go to the SSI grant increase, and we do have a witness who I'll give most of my time in that for. I really appreciated the robust discussion that you had around SSI advocacy. I thought it was really useful. And I just want to underscore at the outset here something that the Department of Social Services said, which is that SSI is an absolutely crucial part of our safety net. When we made all the cuts that we just talked about in SSI, those cuts had the effect of dropping 1 million people into poverty, below the poverty level. And we've never moved those folks back up. So that money that we provide for our SSI recipients in the state of California is absolutely crucial. And when we have an opportunity to move people from zero income or from a general assistance grant, which averages around the state anywhere from $220 to $300 or so a month, and we can move them up to $900 a month, we've made a big impact in their lives. Now, in many cases, those people will still need some housing assistance, and I think as we go through this process of looking at the SSI advocacy proposal, we'll need to figure that out. But I think some of the models that you heard described today by LA County, by San Mateo, we have programs in other counties like Alameda and San Francisco, which are doing similar type work, include really good housing approaches that we think are an excellent model for us to look at. Now, a question did come up, I think, during the discussion that I think maybe I can help answer, which was, what percentage of the general assistance, general relief population in California potentially could become eligible for SSI? So my rough understanding of this, and we certainly could get a more detailed answer for you, is the counties actually divide the general assistance population into two groups. Those who are so-called able-bodied, those able to work, and those not able to work. In most counties, that not able to work group is the larger portion of the population. In many cases, they're disabled, they have conditions that prevent them from working, or they may be older and unable to work but not yet or not eligible for Social Security. So we think that the proposal that is being put forward around SSI advocacy actually can assist a large portion of the general assistance population, which at current times is about 130,000 persons statewide right now. So we think that this proposal potentially, obviously we won't enroll all of those people immediately, and some people won't qualify, but it has the potential to be far-reaching, and that's why we think that this is something the legislature should really consider, and the administration should really consider making a one-time investment to try to get these programs up to speed. And the other thing, one other note on this is that it's not just the general assistance population. CalWorks, people who are veterans, children in the child welfare system, and I think most notably, people coming out of incarceration at either the state or the county level, where we have a large number of people who are mentally ill. Alameda County, for example, now is contracting with legal service providers in the East Bay to go into the jails and begin to work with AB 109 folks to get SSI applications started prior to release, and then is arranging for affordable housing opportunities when they come out of jail. So they're transitioning not to the streets, but to a housing situation where the county can continue to work with them and prepare their application. So we think that this has potentially even more eligible participants who we can pull out of different systems of care that the state and the counties run across our state. In our mind, there are 4 things that we think are crucial to any advocacy proposal that this body might put forth. One is it has to have an outreach, screening, and referral service from various county and local government programs and state programs. So counties have to be reaching out actively, aggressively, identifying people and getting them screened and then beginning the process. Secondly, collaboration among county departments is absolutely crucial. And the beauty of what we're seeing in LA and Alameda is we have Department of Social Services and we have mental health, behavioral health, we have our health programs, all of them working together to build a medical file for the evidence that we need in order to get these SSI applications approved. Third, there has to be significant legal representation. Even when we gather all the medical evidence, someone has to go be the advocate in front of SSA who is experienced and is there and will fight for that client and fight for that application and fix any problems that go along. The quicker we can get these applications through, the quicker we can get the next person in line and assist them. So legal representation, after we get all the medical documents, that long form that Senator Stone was looking through and aghast at, once we get through that, we have to have the legal representation. We can't forget that last step. And then, of course, there has to be a housing component that we build into this. I think, again, you heard models from Los Angeles, Alameda, other counties, San Mateo, which are providing a form of housing assistance, some often in the form of shared housing, where several SSI people who are applying for SSI are housed together, so the county knows where they're at. We keep the cost at a reasonable amount. And then, of course, the fact that in some cases we can get some of the retroactive benefits that we get from SSI returned back to the program to be reused a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. That's just smart government. That's smart investment. We get more than one bang for our buck from the dollars that the state invests. That's why we support an investment this year in this SSI advocacy program and would encourage the legislature to consider it very seriously and hope that they can arrange this with the administration. I'm gonna, if that's enough on that, I'd like to just make a couple of comments on SSI and then I'll leave it.
Before you move on,
Yes, ma'am.
you don't have a dollar amount for the advocacy?
Really?
If it's in process, I know it's a collaborative effort. Is it in process? Just.
Well, I think a nice round number like $100 million would be appropriate.
Well, don't just make it up, Mr.
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
That's actually a request that I think one of our counties has put forward.
Okay.
I think if that was matched across the state, we'd have a pretty darn robust program. We could help a lot of folks, a lot of folks.
And based on your experience, what's the typical, I know in this program it's hard to come up with an average or typical, but the average or typical wait time once a completed SSI app has been filed before benefits roll? Can you give me a guesstimate?
Minimum 9 months to a year to get through the process, and that's when everything goes really well and we have a great advocate going and pushing on SSA to get it done well. So when everything connects up, but I would say more typically, we have a high rate of denial in the program, even when we have what we would consider to be adequate documentation of the medical record and the conditions that would meet the qualifications for SSI, and that process can often take 18 to 24 months.
That's helpful. Thank you. Thank you. If you continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So on the SSI grant increase, one thing I would point out, I know that there's, you know, we've talked in this committee before about the level of the cuts, and I know you had a dialogue with the Department and Department of Finance on this issue. So one thing I would just remind the committee is that the average recipient, a single individual, took a $77 a month cut. Starting, the last cut I believe was done in the 2011-12 budget year. So for the last 4 or 5 budget cycles, every month, the state, there's about a million single individuals who took a $77 a month cut. Times 12, that's 840 million, 880 million, times 4 years. So I just want to put that in perspective. We have asked and continue to ask for billions of dollars in subsidy from some of the poorest families and individuals in our state. And that ask continues to go on, and we've never restored a single dollar of it. So I just think as we think about what the amount of the grant increase should be this year, and we are very grateful and thankful that the governor recognized the need and is stepping up to the plate with a potential increase in the grant. But we would note that these folks have been helping the state balance their budget for a long time, and I think we need to do more. I think a proposal more like what we heard from the LAO, where there would be a gradual set of step increases until we got the grant back, hopefully above the federal poverty level, and I wouldn't suggest we stop there. But I think we have to have a long-term, multiple-year way to get that money back to folks, and it's only fair. And so that is the kind of proposal that the Western Center has been supporting. We have quite a few folks here today from the California for SSI Coalition. They'll be coming up later in public testimony to tell you about their needs. But that is the kind of proposal that we would endorse and support, and we would encourage the committee to think strongly about how we lay out a path for getting those grants back to where they were. And with that, I would like to introduce our witness today, who's come all the way from San Francisco today. And Karen Taylor lives in the city. She lives at the Pierre Hotel, a single-room occupancy hotel in San Francisco, and she is a peer counselor with the Central City SRO Collaborative, and she assists people with housing needs. She's an SSI recipient herself, and I'm going to pull a microphone up here because she's not going to get hurt if we don't. And anyway, I'm going to let her tell her story about her needs for SSI. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor, for coming.
Thank you, Chairman Mitchell. Thank you, members of the board. I'm Karen Taylor, and I am here to ask you to please restore the SSI, SSIP grant cuts and the cost of living allowance. If you do so, you can help people to preserve their health. You have, say, bad teeth. Maybe your side of the family was the side with bad teeth. You have periodontal issues. They recently did restore, and thank you very much, Medi-Cal did, where you can go and get your teeth fixed. But you pick a fairly nice dental school, so there's still a $400 wall. They say, sure, we'll fix all your problems, but you need the deep cleaning, so you have to get the $400 first. And they'll take it out of your checking account every month if you would like, but when you only get $840 a month and you live in San Francisco, you need every nickel of that. It's already gone before you pick it up. If you restore it, it will help people keep their housing, because the cuts may be coming, but rent is not going down anywhere. And it's tough enough when you have disabilities, mental disabilities, physical disabilities. You have everything else to deal with. You have a million doctor's appointments, a million therapist appointments. All the big companies are squeezing you for everything they can. This is another hearing, and I'll probably be back up here for the one where AT&T is kicking people that California, again, great state for people, letting them be a part of the society. AT&T is kicking people off of Lifeline that are eligible for it. And I don't care what agency you go to, how many times you call them, it takes them forever to put you back on. So now you have $80 or $90 a month just to have a phone in your house, and I'm old-fashioned, my phone's in my house. You will help people if you restore, as I ask you to please restore the cuts to SSI, SSP, and the COLA. You'll help people to preserve basic human dignity, because people that receive these benefits are just like you. They brush their teeth in the morning, they use products in their hair, you know, maybe a little deodorant, it never hurt, especially when you're riding the bus. And again, you only have so much money. You know, you laugh, but it's tough. It's very tough. You can only do so much, and then when I run out, that's it. until next month. And I mean, there's free things to help you, you know, there's food banks and things like that. I won't tell you about the food bank where the cans are 10 years old and dented, the produce is rotten, and everything else is past the sell-by date. And when you have a little extra money, it just helps you. It goes further, especially since I think this is the only state I've ever heard of in my home state, way back east. If you get SSI or disability, you automatically get food stamps. You don't even go to apply. They just send you a letter. We don't even get food stamps out here, and that little bit of money, it's just enough to just barely hang on. But, you know, one more cut, one more year, everything going up, and then you're back on the street. So just remember, you're helping your neighbors and your friends. Nobody goes out and says, I want to get sick. I want to get a terrible physical ailment so I can be in pain all the time, you know, or I'd like to have a mental illness so that I have difficulty dealing with complex things or trouble concentrating. No one asks for that. And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that like 70 years ago we said in this country that we will not leave people that are poor and widows and orphans behind just because they are. So don't march backward, march forward, and restore the cuts to SSI, SSP, and the COLA, and help a lot of people that really need it, that didn't ask for the problems that are coming to them, that are suffering tremendously and could use your help. And it's a help that will actually do something. I mean, it's so many problems in the world. You look at them, you know, and you want to turn away and just not even look, because it's like, what can I do? I'm one person. What can I do? This is something where if you do this, I guarantee you, if I go home and next month comes and I have an additional $100 in income, that is a real concrete help that actually made my life materially better right then and right there. And that's something that you can do not just for me, but millions of your fellow Californians, and I hope that you do. Thank you.
Ms. Taylor, thank you very much. We appreciate your testimony. So for the newcomers to Sub-3, let me tell you how we do it so we can be efficient and move quickly and that we're not distracted by the applause. We appreciate you wanting to give support to people who witnesses. So we are all going to be bilingual and learn one sign in American Sign Language, which is applause. And this is the sign for applause. Turn around, Ms. Taylor, so you can see him. All right, she sees you. They're all supportive of your testimony. Any questions, Senator Stone or Senator Monty?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for your testimony. We'll open it up to public comment. Again, this is on issues 3, 4, and 5 in the SSI, SSP discussion, either on the overview,
Yes.
the increase in the SSP portion of the grant as requested by the administration, or, hang on one second, or the proposals for investment. Are people queuing up? Is this my line I see wrapped around the room? Are you all, raise your hand if you're going to give public comment. Okay, excellent.
Testing.
And so sergeants, we're going to need some help with the mic over there for some people. And I'm going to ask you all to limit your comment to 1 minute, and I'm keeping time, and I will give you 1 10-second warning, and then we're going to cut the mic. So I hope that you're going to exercise some discipline. First witness, thank you.
Michelle Rousey. I'm a person with a disability. I've lived on SSI, and the poverty line's up there. And, you know, having to choose, you know, it's like a lot of our services, having to choose what we do to be able to live on such a low income. I really urge the committee to look at what you can do to raise the amount, and not just $10. $10 will help, but it's not enough. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good day to each of you, and hello again, Senator Mitchell.
My name is Roxanne Bender. I'm the recording secretary for UDW for El Dorado County. I am also a provider for my son, who is severely disabled. He's 39 years old. He has a brain defect that has left him with no self-help skills, no communication skills whatsoever, and he is unable to chew. And he is about 4'10", 85 pounds. So I have a 6-month-old, 4'10", 85-pound baby on SSI. I care for my son because it's my job. Many of our home care clients live on fixed income and worry about how they will keep their homes, pay their utility bills, or even how they will pay for groceries, which, by the way, is the only flexible factor in our budget. It is our responsibility to do what we can do to ease the financial worries of the elderly and people with disabilities. One way we can do this is by reinstating SSI, SSP cost of living adjustments. As costs increase in every other direction, SSI and SSP do not. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Next witness, please. Oh, okay, we're going to come to the right for the cameras. We're ready. Now you're on.
Sorry. Jeff Tom, President, California Council of the Blind. Madam Chair and members, just 3 quick points. First, I want to associate myself with the testimony that has already been given by Mr. Hale and others, and that which will be given. Second, I want to thank you and others in this legislature for, championing the cause of the need for SSI to be increased. And finally, I want to urge you and others to continue the leadership in this area, because without it, we won't be able to move the ball down the court and undo the damage that has been done to persons who are seniors and those with disabilities during the past 10 or even more years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next witness back here to the mic on the left, 1 minute.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Susana Saldana, and I'm a UDW home care provider for Merced. I care for my son, Guadalupe Resendez, and he's 29 years old. He's physically and mentally disabled. He has CP. He depends on a walker, and he has leg braces, and he wears his sneakers out like within 1 week, and that gets very expensive because when he walks, he drags his foot. And I'm here today to urge you to increase the SSP and SSI grants to help lift the many California seniors and people with disabilities out of poverty. We need to ensure that their monthly benefits, at the very least, keep up with the cost of living so they can live with dignity. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Next witness, 1 minute, please.
I'm Anthony Faber from San Francisco. I'm on SSI, and after paying my rent, I have $25 left over. And I would really like that situation changed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, appreciate it.
Senator Mitchell, members of the committee, first I want to thank you for having this very important hearing. This is a really important issue. My name is Peter Mendoza. I'm from Marin County, and I'm a member of the Marin Center for Independent Living Advocacy team. I'll try to be succinct. I come to speak from a couple of different perspectives. I regularly assist people who are on SSI. I've also been a former recipient of the SSI program, and I know how important it is for this program to exist because it helped me be independent, live in the community, and have a good quality of life when I was on the program. SSI, as you all know, is a need-based program. People are living with very low incomes. While I support the governor's proposal or the governor bringing this issue forward, we need to look at ways to expand the program so that people have enough money to meet their basic necessities. I think it's fair to say that people with disabilities and people on SSI and people who are seniors are on a state of emergency. Housing is going up. People can't meet their basic needs. And it's important for people to have access to quality food. And that's been a big push here in California. But people on SSI are left out of that because they can't afford quality food. I did want to speak for 1 second about the process for applying for SSI. And sometimes it takes up to 3 years. And plus, if SSI needs more medical documentation, you have to go back to your doctor 2 or 3 times. Many people don't have access to good care. You also have to often pay for transportation and pay the expenses to get the appointments. So we really need to streamline the process. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your testimony. I heard you. It should just be able to, because this application. You next witness, please.
Thank you. Steve Weiss, Bay Area Legal Aid in Oakland. Thank you for having this hearing and considering restoration of the SSP. As everybody said, it's a vital lifeline to help people meet their basic needs to find affordable housing. And it's one thing that hasn't really been discussed is it's an investment. That money gets all spent locally. So on top of the benefit to the individuals, that is economic stimulus, and it's dollars that are going to be used over and over. And the other thing, I like to join a lot of the comments that have been made by the people from the counties and Mike Harold. Increasing the SSP, I think, works in a complementary manner with the No Place Like Home initiative, and they shouldn't be seen as competing alternatives. It really is an investment. What we found in Alameda County and what they found in LA is that when you put money into these programs in the right way, into legal advocacy and case management, it's an investment. It doesn't cost money, it saves money. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.